It is time for my Christian review of regular books and no spoiler review of Saltwater. So let's get into it. For those of you who haven't seen one of these videos before, first I do my regular review, what you know and love to expect from a book review, but then I get into my Christian review, and that's where I go over basic pieces of a book that may or may not have a fellow believer or anyone wanting to read it. I do have a much more in-detail video that's pinned at the top of the playlist, so if you're wanting more details about my Christian reviews, head on over there. But for now, we can get into my regular review. Saltwater by Katy was given to me as an ARC read, and so I was super excited to check it out. It seemed very interesting, and it takes place in two places that I absolutely adore and love. It takes place in LA, which is near and dear to my heart as I'm close to LA, and then it also takes place in Italy, and me and my husband visited Italy for the first time last year on our honeymoon, but on top of that, I am just forever obsessed now with Italy because my husband is Italian. And so I absolutely just loved being able to experience a book where it talks about places that I love. It also was my first experience in like very rich people being in a thriller, and the experience where it's like the uber wealthy are involved in this experience. And so that was interesting to read for me. I also think that this book had like fantastic pacing. I think it was quick and easy. I was able to stay engaged the whole time. It also takes place over like multiple timelines. And so that kind of keeps you engaged because every time you get somewhere in one timeline, it switches to the other timeline and you want to know what happened, how it happened, and where it happened. Where I think that the book fell flat was at the end, because there are so many insane twists that come that you couldn't figure out probably to save your own life. However, the biggest issue with that is that they were highly unbelievable. Like, there was such a need for suspension of belief in order to get there. And truly, I still left that book with more questions than answers. And as much as I'm okay with a thriller not having every bow crossed at the end of it, I do still need some bows. And I felt like the bows that were given to me made zero sense. I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of my Christian reviews of regular books, because I'm telling you, they come out like 5 days a week and you don't want to miss it. The first category is smut or spice because it's popular in a lot of books, and no, there really isn't any, so there's nothing to worry about, and I love that. The second category is explicit language, and again, no, not really, which I love. We love that we don't have to talk about it. The last category to touch on is violence or gore because it's a thriller, and so it does exist. And yes, there are some gory scenes, mainly towards the end, but they are described. And I think that they also tell the story to a point that you couldn't really skip past it. I don't think it's so graphic that you need to be very careful, but just something to keep in mind. Ultimately, I think this book is probably appropriate for someone ages 15, 16 and up. I don't think there's really anything in there that's gonna feel inappropriate to a teenager. As always, you can see everything that I'm reading and rating in real time by following me on Goodreads. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I actually do have my own YouTube channel, so you can find me there if you want more of my like day-to-day reading, reviews, etc. You can find everything you need to stay in contact with me down in the description box below. And also, I don't want to end the conversation here. Let me know in the comments if you will read this book. It has since come out, so you can check it out for yourself on bookshelves anywhere. Or if you'd rather not leave a comment, you can send us an email at hello@tropia.org. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.